I came home on Christmas Day to find a stranger in a wheelchair sitting in my living room. The house was empty except for her. On the table, a note in my daughter's handwriting. "Mom, we're on vacation. She's your problem now. If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. Let me back up. Let me tell you how I got here." The drive home that evening should have felt familiar. Same roads, same turn onto Maple Street, same house at the end of the cul-de-sac with the white fence my late husband built 20 years ago. But something was off the moment I pulled into the driveway. The lights were on inside. That part was normal. What wasn't normal was the silence. No music, no voices, no smell of roasted turkey drifting through the vents. My daughter Amy's car wasn't in the garage, neither was my son-in-law Michael's truck. I'd just spent the last week in Pennsylvania watching my mother die. 72 hours of hospice care, a funeral with 6 people, and a 4-hour drive back through snow. I was 64 years old, and I'd never felt more exhausted in my life. All I wanted was to see my daughter, to be held, to be told it would be okay. I turned off the engine, sat there for a moment. The house looked wrong, too still. I grabbed my keys. My hands were shaking. I opened the door, and then I heard it. The soft creak of wheels on hardwood. Someone was in my living room. I walked in slowly. My heart was hammering against my ribs. The Christmas lights were on, the ones Amy insisted I help her string up 2 weeks ago. They cast everything in this soft red and green glow. And there she was, an older woman, sitting in a wheelchair in the middle of my living room. Her hair was gray and uncombed. She wore an old cardigan that had seen better days. She didn't say anything, just looked at me with these eyes that were hard to read. Not angry, not afraid, just tired. I knew who she was. Dorothy, Michael's mother. I'd met her twice, once at the wedding, once at Thanksgiving 3 years ago. She'd been walking then, vibrant. She'd told stories about teaching elementary school for 30 years. Now she just sat there. On the coffee table between us was a folded piece of paper. I picked it up. My hands were shaking worse now. I had to read it twice before the words made sense. "Mom, we're on vacation. She's your problem now. Merry Christmas." I read the note again, and again. My daughter's handwriting. I'd know it anywhere. The way she loops her lowercase g, the way she crosses her T's too high. She's your problem now. I thought about the last conversation we'd had, 2 weeks ago, when I called to say my mother was dying. Amy had said she understood. She'd said, "Take your time." She'd said, "We'll be here when you get back." I thought about every time she'd told me she loved me, every time she'd called asking for help with something, every time I'd dropped everything to be there. And now this. Dorothy still hadn't said anything. She just watched me. Her expression wasn't judgment. It was something else, recognition maybe. Then her voice came out like dry leaves scraping pavement. "They did the same to me 3 days ago." 3 days. I looked at Dorothy, really looked at her this time. Her cardigan wasn't just old. It was the same one she'd been wearing 3 days ago. Her hair wasn't just uncombed. It hadn't been washed. There was a faint smell in the room I hadn't noticed before. Not strong, just there. "When did you last eat?" I asked. She glanced toward the kitchen. There were crackers in the cabinet. "Tuesday morning." Before they left. Tuesday morning. It was Friday night. They'd left her here, alone, for 3 days, with crackers. Something cold settled in my chest. Not anger yet. Something quieter. Something that felt like clarity. I looked down at the note in my hand, folded it carefully, set it back on the coffee table. Then I walked into the kitchen. The refrigerator was full. Of course it was. Amy had gone grocery shopping before they left, made sure there was plenty of food, for them, for their vacation. I opened the cabinet, found the box of crackers, nearly empty. I filled the kettle with water, turned on the stove, opened the cabinet where I kept the tea. My hands had stopped shaking. I walked back to the living room. Dorothy was watching me. "When did you last have a proper meal?" I asked again. "Tuesday morning," she said, "before they left." "They left you here for 3 days, alone." She nodded once. "I was taking care of my own mother," I said. My voice came out steadier than I expected. "She passed last week." Dorothy's eyes softened. "I'm sorry." Don't be. She died knowing I loved her. Not everyone's that lucky. I went back to the kitchen, came back with 2 cups of tea. I set one down in front of Dorothy. We're not doing this, I said quietly. She looked up at me. Doing what? Sitting here waiting for them to come back and tell us what to do. Dorothy watched me for a long moment. Then for the first time since I'd walked in, she smiled. What did you have in mind? We sat there in silence for a while. Not the uncomfortable kind. Just 2 people drinking tea. 2 people who'd been left behind. I poured myself a second cup, refilled hers. Dorothy held the cup with both hands. They were shaking slightly. I got up, found a blanket on the back of the couch, draped it over her shoulders. She looked up at me. Something in her eyes I couldn't quite name. Thank you, she said. When did you fall? I asked. 3 months ago, in my kitchen. Slipped on some water, broke my hip. And the wheelchair? Temporary. That's what the doctors said. I just needed time, physical therapy. But Michael said it was easier this way. Brought me here, said they'd take care of me. She looked down at her tea. But they didn't take care of you, I said. They arranged things. There's a difference. I knew exactly what she meant. Amy used to call me every day, I said. Then every week. Then only when she needed something. Money for a car repair. Help with a down payment. Someone to watch the house while they went on vacation. Michael used to visit every Sunday, Dorothy said. Now he texts. Just checking in, Mom. 3 words. Like I'm a bill he needs to pay. Outside, it started to snow. The flakes caught in the Christmas lights. Red, green, white. Do you know what hurts most? Dorothy asked. What? The silence. Not the wheelchair. Not being left behind. The silence. They stopped asking how I feel. They just started arranging things for me. I nodded. Like furniture. Exactly like furniture. We sat with that for a moment. I spent 32 years teaching children, Dorothy said. I taught them to read, to write, to be kind. I had a classroom full of kids who called me their favorite teacher. And now my own son can't be bothered to ask how I'm doing. Her voice didn't break, but it got quieter. I raised Amy alone after her father died, I said. She was 8. I worked 2 jobs, made sure she had everything she needed, made sure she went to college, made sure she never felt like she was missing out. And now? Now I'm the one who's missing out. On being treated like a person instead of an obligation. Dorothy looked at me. When did we become the inconvenience? The moment we needed them more than they needed us. The snow was falling harder now. The house was warm. Too warm, maybe. But neither of us moved. They think we're helpless, I said. Are we? Dorothy asked. I thought about that. About the last week. Watching my mother die. Sitting in that hospital room, holding her hand, telling her it was okay to let go. I thought about driving home. 4 hours through snow, exhausted, grieving, but still driving. I thought about walking into this house, seeing that note, seeing Dorothy, and instead of falling apart, making tea. No, I said, we're not helpless, we're just tired, and they've mistaken tired for done. Dorothy smiled. A real smile this time. You know what I think? She said. What? I think they're on some beach right now, drinking cocktails, congratulating themselves for taking a break, thinking we're here sitting around grateful they haven't completely abandoned us. I laughed. I couldn't help it. A bitter laugh, but a laugh nonetheless. They have no idea, I said. No idea about what? I looked at Dorothy, at this woman I barely knew, this woman who'd been left in my living room like a piece of luggage. That we're not going to sit here and wait, I said. Wait for what? For permission. For them to decide when we matter again. For them to tell us what we're allowed to do. Dorothy leaned forward slightly. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we have 4 days. 4 days? That note said 1 week. They left Tuesday. It's Friday night. They'll be back Tuesday. And we have 4 days to remind ourselves we're not furniture. We're not obligations. We're not problems to be solved. We're people, Dorothy said. We're people who still have lives. Dorothy set down her tea. She looked at me for a long time. I haven't done anything without permission in 2 years, she said quietly. Then it's time. Time for what? To live. Really live. Not the version of living where we wait for phone calls that never come. Not the version where we apologize for needing things. The real version. The one where we matter because we say we matter. Outside, the snow kept falling. Inside, something else was falling away. The weight of being forgotten. The shame of being left behind. Dorothy wheeled herself closer to the couch where I sat. "Rebecca," she said, "are you ready?" I looked at her. At this stranger, who wasn't a stranger anymore. "Ready," I said. She straightened in her wheelchair. "Then let's begin." I woke up the next morning to sunlight streaming through the bedroom window. For a moment I forgot where I was, forgot what had happened. Then I remembered. The note, Dorothy, the decision. I got dressed, went downstairs. Dorothy was already awake, still in the wheelchair, still in yesterday's clothes. "We need to fix that," I said. "Fix what?" "Everything." I made breakfast. Not cereal, not toast. A real breakfast. Eggs, bacon, fresh coffee. The kind of breakfast I used to make for Amy when she was little, before life got busy, before I became someone she only called when she needed something. Dorothy watched me cook. "When's the last time someone made you breakfast?" I asked. She thought about it. "I don't remember." "Well, today someone is." We ate at the kitchen table, slowly. Not because we had to, because we could. After breakfast, I helped Dorothy get cleaned up. Found some of Amy's old clothes that fit. Helped her wash her hair in the kitchen sink. It took time, but we weren't in a hurry. When we were done, Dorothy looked different. Not just clean, awake. "What now?" she asked. "Now we reclaim this house." We spent the morning rearranging the living room. Moving furniture, opening curtains Amy always kept closed because she said it saved on heating bills. Turning on the radio, playing music, real music. Not Christmas songs. Jazz. The kind my husband used to play on Saturday mornings. Dorothy helped. Not much, but enough. Pointing to where things should go. Picking out which records to play. Around noon, my phone started ringing. Amy. I looked at the screen. 5 missed calls already. "Are you going to answer?" Dorothy asked. I thought about it. About what I would say. About explaining. About apologizing. About doing what I'd always done. Making it easy for her. I turned off the notifications. "No," I said. "She'll worry." "Good. Let her worry. Let her know what it feels like." Dorothy nodded slowly. We made lunch. Soup from scratch. The kind that takes time. The kind that fills the house with the smell of something good. In the afternoon, I did something I hadn't done in months. I wheeled Dorothy outside. She didn't want to, at first. Said it was too cold. Said she hadn't been outside since Michael brought her here. "That's exactly why we're going," I said. The backyard was covered in snow, fresh, untouched, beautiful. I wheeled Dorothy to the middle of the yard. Stopped. "Close your eyes," I said. "Why?" "Just do it." She closed them. "Feel the cold," I said. "Feel the air. Feel alive." She sat there for a long moment. Then she opened her eyes. They were wet. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" "For remembering I'm human." We stayed outside until our hands went numb. Then we went back in. Made hot chocolate. Sat by the window watching the snow. My phone buzzed again. More calls, more messages. I glanced at it. 7 missed calls now. 12 text messages. "What do they say?" Dorothy asked. I scrolled through them. "Mom, where are you? This isn't funny. Call me right now. If you don't answer, I'm calling the police." I showed Dorothy. She read them, then looked at me. "Are you scared?" she asked. "No," I said, and I meant it. "Are you?" "No. For the first time in 2 years, I'm not scared. I'm angry, and I think angry is better." "Angry is better," I agreed. That evening, we painted. Not walls, not furniture. We just painted. Watercolors on cheap paper I found in the craft drawer Amy used to use when she was young. Dorothy painted flowers. I painted the ocean. Neither of us were any good. But that wasn't the point. The point was, We were doing something because we wanted to. Not because someone told us we could. Not because someone gave us permission. Just because. Before bed, I checked my phone one more time. 15 missed calls, 23 messages. I typed out a single response. We're fine. Enjoying Christmas together. Don't rush. I hit send. Dorothy looked at me. Don't rush? I want them to know, I said, that we're not sitting here waiting for rescue. We're living, and they're the ones missing out. That night, I did something I hadn't done in years. I turned off my phone completely. And for the first time since Amy was born, I slept through the night without waiting for her to need me. Sunday morning, I turned my phone back on. 23 missed calls, 47 text messages. I scrolled through them while making coffee. Dorothy wheeled herself into the kitchen. Worse? She asked. Much. The messages had escalated. Amy wasn't just worried now. She was furious. Mom, this is not funny. Where are you? If something happened to you, I will never forgive myself. We're cutting the vacation short. We're coming home tomorrow. And then, from Michael's number. Ellen, please call. My mother needs her medication. I showed that one to Dorothy. She looked at it, then reached into the pocket of her cardigan, pulled out a small pill organizer, showed me. All here, she said. He doesn't even know what I take. We sat with that for a moment. Then the doorbell rang. Dorothy and I looked at each other. Are you expecting anyone? She asked. No. I went to the door, looked through the peephole. Sarah Mitchell, my neighbor from 3 houses down. I opened the door. Rebecca, Sarah said. She looked worried, relieved, confused. Your daughter has been calling me. She's really concerned. She said she can't reach you and wanted me to check on you. I could see Dorothy in her wheelchair behind me. Sarah's eyes went to her, then back to me. I'm fine, I said. We both are. We? Sarah, this is Dorothy, Michael's mother. She's staying with me for a few days. Sarah looked between us. Amy said there was an emergency. There's no emergency, I said. Amy's on vacation. Dorothy and I are having some time together. But she said, I know what she said. But look at me. Do I look like there's an emergency? Sarah studied my face. I smiled. A real smile. No, she said slowly. You look good, actually. Better than you did at your mother's funeral. I feel better. So you're okay? I'm more than okay. I'm living. Sarah nodded slowly. Should I tell Amy that? Tell her I said hello, and that everything is fine here. After Sarah left, I closed the door, leaned against it. Dorothy was watching me. That was interesting, she said. That was a test, I said. They're checking up on us through other people now. Are you going to call them? I thought about it. Part of me wanted to. Part of me wanted to pick up the phone and explain everything. Make it easy. Make it okay. But another part of me knew. If I called now, nothing would change. They'd come home. Apologize maybe. But nothing would be different. We'd still be furniture. Still be obligations. Still be problems to be solved. No, I said. Not yet. What are we going to do? We're going to keep living. That afternoon, we cooked. Not soup this time. Real cooking. Chicken and roasted vegetables. The kind of meal that takes hours. The kind you make when you care. Dorothy helped from her wheelchair, chopping vegetables, stirring pots, telling stories about meals she used to make when Michael was young. He loved my pot roast, she said. Every Sunday I'd make it. He'd bring friends over. They'd all sit around the table and eat and talk and laugh. When did that stop? When he met Amy. Not right away, but slowly. The visits got shorter. Then they stopped coming for dinner. Then it was just holidays. Then just major holidays. Then just Christmas. And this Christmas? This Christmas they left me here. We kept cooking. While the chicken was in the oven, I did something Amy had forbidden me to do. I decided to paint the living room. Not the whole thing. But I'd been wanting to change the color for years. Amy said no. Said it was a waste of money. Said the beige was fine. But I hated beige. I found the paint cans in the garage. Light blue. The color of sky. The color of hope. Dorothy picked it out. That one, she said. That's the color of mornings. We spent the evening painting. I did most of it, but Dorothy helped, pointing out spots I missed, choosing where to put the accent wall. We got paint on our hands, on our clothes, on the floor, and we laughed. Real laughter. The kind that comes from deep in your chest, the kind that makes your face hurt. When was the last time I'd laughed like that? While we painted, we talked. Do you think we did something wrong? Dorothy asked. Raising them? I thought about that. About all the choices I'd made as a mother, all the sacrifices. No, I said. We loved them too much, maybe. But that's not wrong. What's wrong is that the world taught them that love is supposed to be one way, that parents give and children take, and nobody taught them what happens when that equation flips. So what do? We stop being teachers to students who don't want to learn. Dorothy nodded. And we start being what? Ourselves. Just ourselves. Not mothers first, not grandmothers, not caregivers, just Dorothy and Rebecca. Two women who still have lives to live. Evening came. The living room was half painted, light blue on one wall, beautiful, fresh, new. My phone buzzed. Another message from Amy. Mom, we're flying back tonight. Emergency. You need to explain what's going on. I showed Dorothy. She read it, then looked up at me. What will you tell them? I smiled. The truth. That we're fine, and they're the ones who have the emergency. Monday morning, the last day before they came home. I woke up with a strange feeling. Not dread, not anxiety, something closer to calm. I found Dorothy already awake, looking out the window at the street. What are you thinking about? I asked. When's the last time I left the house? She said. Really left, not just the backyard. I thought about that. When did Michael bring you here? 3 months ago. And you haven't been out since? She shook her head. He said it was too complicated. The wheelchair, the car, easier to just stay home. I looked at her. At this woman who used to teach 30 children at a time, who used to stand in front of a classroom and command attention and respect. Now she couldn't leave the house. Get dressed, I said. Why? We're going out. Where? Does it matter? She looked at me, then smiled. No, I guess it doesn't. 20 minutes later, we were driving. Dorothy in the passenger seat, the wheelchair folded in the trunk. I didn't have a destination in mind. Just drove. Through town, past the shops, past the park covered in snow. Dorothy had her hand on the window, watching everything go by. I forgot, she said quietly. Forgot what? What the world looks like. I drove us to the library, the one downtown, the old brick building with the stone steps. Dorothy looked at the steps. I can't. There's a ramp, I said. On the side. I got the wheelchair out, helped her into it, pushed her up the ramp. Inside, the library was warm, quiet, that particular smell of old books and furniture polish. Dorothy's whole face changed. A young librarian looked up from the desk, smiled at us. Good morning, she said. Good morning, Dorothy said back, and her voice sounded different, stronger. We spent an hour there, Dorothy picking out books, running her fingers along the spines, reading titles out loud. At one point, she reached for a book on a higher shelf. Without thinking, she started to stand. I held the wheelchair steady, didn't say anything. She stood for maybe 5 seconds, grabbed the book, sat back down. She looked at me, eyes wide. I stood up, she said. Yes, you did. I haven't done that in weeks. Maybe you just needed a reason. On the way out, a little boy ran past us, stopped, stared at the wheelchair. That's cool, he said. It has wheels. Dorothy laughed. It does. Would you like to push it for a bit? The boy's mother nodded. He grabbed the handles, pushed Dorothy toward the door, carefully, proudly. Dorothy turned back to look at me. She was smiling, really smiling. When we got to the car, she said, Thank you. For what? For reminding me the world is still there. It's always been there, I said. You just needed someone to open the door. That afternoon, we sat in the half-painted living room, the light blue wall catching the winter sun. Dorothy had the books from the library stacked on her lap, but she wasn't reading, just thinking. Tomorrow they come back, she said. Yes. Are you ready? I thought about that. I don't know if I'm ready. But I know I'm different than I was 4 days ago. Different how? I'm not angry anymore, I said. I thought I would be. I thought by the time they got back I'd be furious. But I'm not. What are you? Sad. Dorothy looked at me. Sad because Amy doesn't understand, I said. She doesn't understand that one day she'll be 64. One day she'll be the one who needs help. And if she treats her daughter the way she's treating me, then she's going to end up exactly where we are now. Alone, Dorothy said. Discarded. We sat with that. I got up, found the photo album I kept on the bookshelf, brought it over, opened it to a picture of Amy when she was 5, gap-toothed smile, holding a drawing she'd made for me. She wrote on the back, I said, flipped it over. In crayon it said, Mommy, I love you forever. Dorothy took the photo, looked at it for a long time. Michael wrote me something similar, she said. He was 8, drew me a picture, called me his hero. When did we stop being heroes? When we started needing them. I closed the album. It's not their fault entirely. Is it? Dorothy shook her head. The world teaches this. Be independent. Don't be a burden. Make something of yourself. And somehow, in all that teaching, they forget that everyone needs someone eventually. That needing people isn't weakness. It's human. We taught them to be strong, I said. But we didn't teach them to be kind when someone else isn't strong. I thought about that. About all the times I'd told Amy to be independent, to not rely on anyone, to make her own way. I'd been so focused on making sure she could stand on her own that I forgot to teach her how to help someone who couldn't. So what do we do tomorrow? Dorothy asked. We tell them the truth, which is that we forgive them. But that forgiveness isn't permission to do it again. Dorothy reached for my hand, held it. Do you think they'll understand? She asked. Maybe not right away. But we can't control that. All we can control is us, and we're different now. We know we matter. Not because they say we do, because we say we do. Outside, the sun was setting. The snow looked pink in the fading light. Rebecca? Dorothy said. Yes? Tomorrow when they come. When they see us. When they see what we've done here. Yes? They're going to be shocked. I smiled. Good, I said. Let them be shocked. Let them see what happens when you underestimate women who've survived everything life has thrown at them. Let them see what happens when the furniture starts walking. We both laughed at that. Tomorrow they'd come home. But tonight, we were free. That night we didn't do much. Didn't cook anything elaborate. Didn't paint. Didn't plan. We just sat. Dorothy had put on one of the jazz records, the same one my husband used to play, something slow and warm. The Christmas lights were still up, still blinking red and green and white. But they looked different now. Not sad, not desperate, just peaceful. Dorothy sat by the window, watching snow fall. I sat on the couch, watching her. Thank you, she said without turning around. For what? For not leaving me there. Where? In that wheelchair. In that silence. In that version of myself that forgot how to be human. I didn't say anything. Sometimes, thank you doesn't need a response. Sometimes, it just needs to be heard. Tuesday morning. I woke up early, made coffee, made breakfast. Dorothy was already awake, dressed, hair combed. But something was different. She wasn't in the wheelchair. She was standing by the kitchen counter, holding onto it for support, but standing. Dorothy, I bought a walker, she said. Yesterday, while you were getting the mail. Had it delivered to the back door. She gestured to the corner. There it was. A simple aluminum walker. You didn't tell me. I wanted to surprise you. Can you walk? A little. With help. Turns out Michael was wrong. I didn't need that wheelchair as much as he thought. I just needed a reason to try. She took a few steps, slow, careful, but steady. How long have you been practicing? Since 4 a.m. I wanted to be ready. Ready for what? To show them I'm not what they think I am. We spent the morning finishing the painting. The living room was now completely light blue, bright, open, new. We moved the wheelchair to the corner, put the walker beside the couch instead. We set the table. Coffee, pastries from the box I'd found in the freezer. We put the note back on the coffee table, right where they'd left it. And next to it, we put our own note. Thank you for the vacation. We had ours too. At 11 o'clock, we heard the car. Dorothy looked at me. Ready? She asked. Ready. We sat on the couch, Dorothy with her walker beside her, me with my coffee. Not scrambling, not apologizing, not explaining. Just sitting. The front door opened. Amy came in first, Michael right behind her. They stopped. Just stopped. The living room was different. The walls, the furniture arrangement, the music playing softly, the smell of coffee, and us. Two women, calm, collected, smiling. Amy's mouth opened. No sound came out. Michael stared at his mother. At Dorothy, standing with her walker instead of sitting in that wheelchair. Mom, Amy started. Welcome home, I said. How was your vacation? What's going on? We've been enjoying Christmas. Together. Just like your note said. Amy looked at the note on the table. Read it. Read ours next to it. Her face went red. Mom, this isn't funny. No, I said. It's not funny at all. What's not funny is leaving your mother alone on Christmas. What's not funny is leaving Dorothy here with no food and no care for 3 days before I even arrived. Michael looked at Dorothy. Mom, you look different? Dorothy said. She stood up. Used the walker to move forward a few steps. That's because I am different. Turns out when people treat you like you're capable, you become capable. But the doctor said I needed time and physical therapy. You decided I needed a wheelchair and isolation. Amy turned to me. Mom, where were you? I called 50 times. I was here, living. Something I haven't done in a very long time. You ignored my calls. I chose not to answer. There's a difference. I was worried sick. Good. Now you know how it feels. To worry, to wonder, to be left in the dark. Amy looked like she might cry. That's not fair. You want to talk about fair? Let's talk about fair. I spent the last week watching my mother die. Alone. You didn't come. You didn't call. You said you were too busy. And then I came home. Expecting my daughter. Expecting comfort. Expecting someone to tell me it was going to be okay. Instead, I found a note. And Dorothy. And your vacation plans. The room went quiet. Michael stepped forward. Ellen, we didn't mean… Rebecca? I said. My name is Rebecca, not Ellen. Ellen is Dorothy's name, apparently. Because you can't even keep our names straight in a text message. He looked down. Dorothy moved forward another step with her walker, looked at her son. Michael, do you know what medications I take? He didn't answer. Do you know when my last doctor's appointment was? Do you know what my physical therapist said? Do you know anything about my actual condition? Or did you just assume that putting me in a wheelchair was easier than asking? Mom, You put me in that chair, and you left me there. For 3 months. And when even that became too inconvenient, you left me here, with crackers and a note. Amy was crying now. We were overwhelmed. So was I said. I'm 64 years old. I just buried my mother. I'm exhausted, I'm grieving, and I'm overwhelmed. But I didn't abandon anyone. I made tea, I made breakfast, I opened the curtains. I helped Dorothy remember she's human. We were going to come back. After a week. After leaving us here like furniture you didn't want to look at anymore. Dorothy sat back down on the couch, the walker beside her. Here's what's going to happen, she said. I'm staying here, with Rebecca, for as long as I want. And you're going to think very carefully about what kind of son you want to be. The kind who visits his mother, or the kind who abandoned her. Amy looked at me. Mom? And you're going to think about what kind of daughter you want to be. I said. I love you, Amy, but I don't recognize you right now. And until I do, until you show me you understand what you did, we're going to take some space. How much space? However much we need. Amy and Michael stood there, in the doorway, lost. You can go now, I said quietly. But go. Process this. Think about this. And when you're ready to have a real conversation, not an argument, not an excuse, but a conversation, then come back. They didn't move. Dorothy looked at them. We're not angry. We're not punishing you. We're just not going to let you treat us like this anymore. Do you understand? Slowly, Michael nodded. Amy was still crying. I'm sorry, she whispered. I know, I said. But sorry isn't enough yet. Show me you understand. Then we'll talk. They left. The door closed. Dorothy and I sat there. In the silence. In our light blue living room. In our freedom. That went better than I expected, Dorothy said. I laughed. A real laugh. Me too. We didn't talk much after they left. Just sat there, breathing, letting it settle. Eventually, Dorothy got up, walked to the window with her walker, looked out at the street. They're still sitting in the car, she said. I joined her. Amy and Michael were in their car in the driveway, not moving, just sitting there. What do you think they're saying? Dorothy asked. I don't know. Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. We watched them for a few more minutes. Then the car started. They drove away. Dorothy turned to me. Do you think we were too harsh? No, I said. I think we were honest. And they're not used to that. I keep thinking about Michael as a little boy, she said. He was so sweet, so kind. He used to bring me flowers from the neighbor's garden. Mrs. Patterson would get so mad, but I thought it was adorable. When did that change? I don't know. Slowly. So slowly I didn't notice until it was already gone. We made lunch, sandwiches. Simple. We weren't hungry, but we ate anyway. What happens now? Dorothy asked. Now we live, I said. Really live, not the performance of living for them, the real thing. And if they never come back? I thought about that. The possibility that Amy might never understand. That this might be permanent. Then we live anyway, I said. We don't need their permission to matter. That afternoon, Dorothy practiced walking more. Up and down the hallway, slow but steady, each step more confident than the last. I watched from the doorway. You're doing great, I said. I'm terrified, she said, but she was smiling. Of what? Of falling. Of not being able to do it. Of getting my hopes up just to have them crushed. So don't hope, I said. Just walk. She laughed. Took another step, then another. By evening, she could walk from the living room to the kitchen without stopping. Look at you, I said. Look at us, she replied. We made dinner together. Real dinner. Pasta from scratch. The kind that takes time and attention and care. Dorothy stood at the counter, kneading dough, her hands strong, steady. I forgot I could do this, she said. Do what? Cook? Be useful. Be capable. Be more than just a problem to solve. The pasta was perfect. We ate slowly, savored it. After dinner, we sat in the living room, the light blue walls glowing in the lamplight. My phone buzzed. A text from Amy. Mom, can we talk? I showed Dorothy. What are you going to say? I thought about it. About what I wanted. What I needed. I typed back. When you're ready to listen. Not just to respond. When you're ready to hear what we have to say without defending yourself. Then yes, we can talk. I hit send. A minute later. When? When you've thought about what kind of daughter you want to be. When you've talked to Michael about what kind of son he wants to be. When you understand that sorry is a starting point, not an ending. Then we'll talk. Another minute. Then, okay. Just okay. I put the phone down. Well? Dorothy asked. She's thinking, I said. Good. Let her think. Let them both think. We turned on the television. Some old movie. Black and white. Neither of us really watching. Just sitting together in the quiet. At some point Dorothy said, Rebecca? Yes? Thank you. You've said that. I need to say it again. You could have called them that first night. You could have made this easy. You could have done what everyone expected. Take care of me. Wait for them to come back. Smile and pretend everything was fine. But I didn't. No, you didn't. And I need you to know that changed my life. Those 4 days. They changed everything. I felt my throat tighten. You changed mine too. How? You reminded me I'm not alone. That there are other people out there who understand what it feels like to be invisible, and that we don't have to accept it. We sat there, the movie playing, the snow falling outside. Do you think they'll really change? Dorothy asked. I don't know, I said. But we already have, and that's what matters. That night, before bed, I did something I hadn't done in years. I wrote in a journal. Not much, just a few lines. Today I stood up to my daughter. Today Dorothy walked. Today we chose ourselves. And tomorrow we'll do it again. And the day after that. And the day after that. Until choosing ourselves feels as natural as breathing. I closed the journal, put it on the nightstand, turned off the light, and for the first time in my life, I went to sleep not worried about what my daughter thought of me, but proud of what I thought of myself. The next morning, I woke to the smell of coffee. Dorothy was in the kitchen. She'd made breakfast, eggs, toast, fresh fruit. She was standing at the stove. No walker, just standing. Dorothy. She turned around, grinning. I know. I just wanted to see if I could. How long have you been standing there? 5 minutes. Maybe more. I lost track. I sat down at the table. She brought over the plates, walking slowly, carefully, but walking. She sat across from me. To new beginnings, she said, raising her coffee cup. I raised mine, to remembering who we are. We ate breakfast, made plans for the day, the library again, maybe a walk through town, maybe nothing at all. It didn't matter what we did. What mattered was we were choosing to do it, together, free, alive. 1 week passed. Then another. The snow melted. The sun came out. Winter started its slow retreat. Dorothy and I fell into a rhythm. She walked more every day. Around the house, around the block, eventually without even thinking about it. The walker sat in the corner, unused, a reminder of what was, not what is. We spent our mornings in the kitchen, cooking, talking, planning. Our afternoons outside, walking, breathing, living. One day, we sat on the front porch. The air was cold, but the sun was warm. Do you ever think about what comes next? Dorothy asked. What do you mean? After this. After they come back. If they come back, what do we do with our lives? I thought about that. About the years I'd spent just existing, waiting for Amy to need me, waiting for permission to matter. I want to do something, I said. Like what? I don't know. Something that matters, something that's ours. Dorothy smiled. I used to dream about opening a cafe. Small, cozy, the kind of place where people can just sit and be. Why didn't you? Life, Michael, teaching, then the fall, then the chair. Dreams get smaller when you do. But you're not small anymore. She looked at me. No, I'm not. So why not do it? Open a cafe? Why not? I have savings. You have experience. We have time. We have each other. Dorothy's eyes went wide. You're serious? I've never been more serious about anything in my life. We sat there, the idea hanging between us, growing, taking shape. What would we call it? Dorothy asked. I thought for a moment, then smiled. The second chapter. Dorothy laughed. A real, full laugh that came from somewhere deep. Perfect, she said. It's perfect. We started making plans. Real plans. Looking at spaces, talking to banks, imagining what it could be. Not just a cafe. A place. For people like us. People who'd been told they were done. People who were just beginning. Amy called 3 times that week. Each time I let it go to voicemail. Each time she left a message. The first, Mom, I'm sorry. Please call me. The second, Mom, I've been thinking about what you said. I want to talk. The third, Mom, please, I need to see you. I didn't call back. Not because I was punishing her, but because I was living. And living meant not dropping everything every time she reached out. On Saturday afternoon, Dorothy and I walked to the park, the one downtown with the pond and the old oak trees. She walked the whole way. No walker, no help, just walking. We sat on a bench, watched the ducks, watched people pass by. Look at us, Dorothy said. Just two old ladies in a park. Two old ladies who are opening a cafe, I corrected. Two old ladies who remembered their people. A little girl ran past, stopped, looked at Dorothy. Hi, the girl said. Hi, Dorothy said back. You walk really good. Dorothy smiled. Thank you. I've been practicing. The girl's mother caught up, apologized. Dorothy waved her off. Kids see things adults miss, she said after they left. Like what? Like how hard it is to walk sometimes, and how beautiful it is when you do it anyway. That evening, my phone rang. Amy. I looked at it. Looked at Dorothy. She nodded. I answered. Mom? Hi, Amy. There was a long silence. Can I come over? She asked. Her voice was small, different. Tomorrow, I said. Come tomorrow, in the afternoon, and bring Michael, and be ready to listen. Okay, she said, I will. I hung up. Dorothy looked at me. Tomorrow then. Tomorrow. That night I barely slept, not from anxiety, from something else, something that felt like hope mixed with caution, like opening a door you're not sure should be opened. But the door was already open. Now we just had to see what walked through. Sunday afternoon, 2:00. The doorbell rang. Dorothy and I looked at each other. She was standing by the window, no walker, no wheelchair, just standing. I opened the door. Amy stood there, Michael beside her. Both of them looked different. Tired. Smaller somehow. Come in, I said. They came in. Stopped when they saw the living room. It had changed even more. Photos on the walls, new curtains, books everywhere. It looked lived in, loved. Dorothy walked over. Slowly. Deliberately. Showing them she could. Hello, Michael, she said. Mom, you're walking. Yes, I am. We all sat down, the coffee table between us. Nobody spoke for a long moment. Then Amy said, Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't say anything. Just waited. I'm sorry for leaving you. For leaving Dorothy. For that note. For all of it. Why did you do it? I asked. She looked down. I was tired. We both were. Taking care of Dorothy, planning the wedding anniversary trip, work, everything. And then you called about Grandma dying and I just thought that I could handle one more thing. Yes? Because I always handle things. Yes? Because I'm Mom. And that's what moms do. Amy started crying. I didn't think about what you were going through, about what you needed. I just thought about what was convenient for us. Michael spoke up. I did the same with Mom. Put her in that chair because it was easier than helping her walk. Brought her here because it was easier than having her at our place. I stopped seeing her as a person, just saw her as an obligation. Dorothy looked at her son. And now? Now I see you, he said. And I'm ashamed of what I did. Good, Dorothy said. Shame means you understand. We talked for 3 hours that afternoon. Not arguing, not defending, just talking. Amy and Michael listened, really listened, to what we'd been through, to how it felt to be left behind, to be treated like furniture, to be forgotten. And we listened too, to their exhaustion, their fear, their misguided attempt to protect themselves by pushing us away. By the end, we'd reached an understanding. Not forgiveness yet, but understanding. We want to do better, Amy said. Then do better, I said. Don't just say it, show it. How? Michael asked. Visit your mother, Dorothy said. Not because you have to, because you want to. Ask her how she's doing. Listen to the answer. See her as a person, not a problem. And call me, I said to Amy. Not just when you need something. Call to see how I am. Call to tell me about your day. Call because you love me, not because you need me. They nodded. Both of them. Can we start over? Amy asked. No, I said. We can't erase what happened. But we can start from here, from this new place, where we all understand what we need from each other. They left an hour later. It was awkward, but it was honest. After they'd gone, Dorothy and I sat in the quiet. That went better than expected, she said. Much better. Do you think they'll really change? I don't know. But I know we have. And that's enough. 3 months passed. Spring came. The world turned green. Everything felt new. Dorothy and I opened our cafe. It wasn't big, just a small storefront on Main Street, but it was ours. We called it the second chapter. Light blue walls, comfortable chairs, books on shelves, jazz playing softly, and coffee. Good coffee, the kind that takes time to make right. But more than that, it was a place. For people like us. People who'd been told they were done. People who were just beginning. On opening day, the cafe was packed. Sarah Mitchell came. Mrs. Patterson from Dorothy's old neighborhood. People from the library. People from town, who'd heard about 2 women who'd decided to start over. And Amy came. With Michael, they helped serve coffee, helped set up tables, stayed the whole day. At one point, Amy pulled me aside. "Mom," she said, "I'm proud of you." I felt something crack open in my chest. "Thank you," I said. "I mean it. I'm proud of what you've built, what you've become. I'm sorry it took me so long to see it." "You're seeing it now," I said. "That's what matters." Michael did the same with Dorothy. Told her he was proud, told her he'd been wrong, told her he wanted to be better. And slowly, over those 3 months, they were. Not perfect, but present. Amy called twice a week, not to ask for anything, just to talk, to ask how I was, to tell me about her life. Michael visited Dorothy every Sunday, took her to lunch, listened to her stories about the cafe, about the customers, about her life. They were learning. We all were. Learning that love isn't just sacrifice, it's also respect. It's seeing each other as whole people, not just roles. One evening, after the cafe closed, Dorothy and I sat in the empty space, the smell of coffee still in the air, the light through the windows golden. "Do you remember that first night?" Dorothy asked. "How could I forget? When you found me in your living room. In that wheelchair. With that note." "I remember. Did you ever imagine we'd end up here?" I looked around, at the cafe we'd built, at the life we'd created, at the woman who'd become my closest friend. "No," I said. "I never imagined this, but I'm glad we're here." "Me too." She reached across the table, took my hand. "Thank you," she said, "for not leaving me in that chair, for not leaving me in that silence, for reminding me I still had a life to live." "You did the same for me," I said. "You reminded me I still mattered, even when my own daughter forgot." We sat there as the sun set, 2 women who'd been discarded, who'd been told their lives were over, who'd proven everyone wrong. A woman walked into the cafe, older, maybe 70. She looked lost, tired. "I'm sorry," she said. "I know you're closed. I just saw the sign. The second chapter. I thought," her voice broke, "I thought maybe this was a place for people like me." Dorothy stood up, walked over to her. "It is," she said. "Come in. Let me make you some coffee." The woman's eyes filled with tears. "My son just put me in a home, said I couldn't live alone anymore, said it was for my own good." "Sit down," I said. "Tell us about it." She did, and we listened. Because that's what the second chapter was for. Not just a cafe, a place where people could remember they still mattered, where they could start again, where they could find others who understood. That night, after the woman left, Dorothy and I locked up. We walked home together. She didn't need help, didn't need a walker, just walked beside me. 2 friends, 2 survivors, 2 women who'd found their second chapter. "Rebecca," Dorothy said. "Yes? I think we did something important. We opened a cafe. No, we opened a door. For people who thought all their doors were closed." I thought about that. About the Christmas I came home to find Dorothy in my living room. About the note that said she was my problem. About how that moment changed everything. "You know what I realized?" I said. "What?" "That Christmas when they left us, they thought they were abandoning us. But really, they freed us." "Freed us from what?" "From living for them, from waiting for their approval, from making ourselves small so they'd feel big." Dorothy smiled. "So really, we should thank them." Maybe someday we will. We reached my house. Our house now. Dorothy lived with me, had been for 3 months. Not because she had to, because she wanted to. Before we went in, I looked up at the night sky, at the stars, and I thought about all the people out there, sitting in living rooms, sitting in wheelchairs, sitting in silence, waiting for someone to tell them they still mattered. I thought about that woman in the cafe tonight, about the look in her eyes when we told her to sit down, to tell us her story, that we had time, and I realized this was my purpose now, not raising Amy, not making sure everyone else was okay, but this, being here, building this place, opening this door, for people who'd forgotten they could still walk through one. They came home expecting to find 2 old women, broken, grateful, waiting. Instead, they found us whole, standing, free. That Christmas, I came home to a note that said I was a problem. But Dorothy and I became the solution. The solution to a question we'd been asking our whole lives. When is it my turn? The answer is now. It's always been now. The loudest justice is the one that doesn't say a word. It simply lives. Fully. Freely. Finally. And that, my friends, is exactly what we did. Thanks for listening. If this story touched you, if you've ever felt invisible or forgotten, leave a comment below. Tell me your story. Tell me where you're watching from. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them. Because everyone deserves their second chapter.